Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat, and welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all today for another Retro Tuesday, diving back into Symphony of the Night. But it's good to see everyone in chat. Mel T. Gray, Step Zero, Nana Kit, good to see y'all. Hope everyone's having a good day, surviving the heat. Yeah, I felt like I had something else to say, but I don't remember. So let's just go ahead. Let's dive on into the game. Hey, Clutch, good to see ya. Yeah, new sub icon. Although it's not showing up on my end, hilariously enough. He'll come back around to the station. Well, that's good. I'll keep an eye out for it. Of course, that depends if it even stops at the station. But yeah, I thought I'd give you all the sub badge kind of in honor or in the design of the collar. I thought that was appropriate. So there's a black one for the basic, then 6 month gets a bronze one. Then it turns to silver for a year, and then beyond that, it's gold. How did I get up there? Hey, Jacob, good to see you. I'm doing well. Yourself? I don't remember how I got up there in the first place. I think because you're a founder kit, you get the first badge instead. Tell your mom you got a collar. So, hey, Bravo, good to see you. Yeah, I have no... Oh, we went around the long way. That's how we got there. Well, shoot. So the problem is we can't actually get up there because we need to have a different flying ability. Wait, where are we? Pretty sure we can't go up this way. Yep, nope. I guess we could go back down and take a ride with Death. Or with Karen. Hello, Meep. Are you braving the castle here? Testing Meep part 32. He's been behaving lately, and I appreciate that. Oh, yeah, my hair was... I didn't get a haircut for 4 years. So Meep actually was drawn the day I got my haircut, so he actually lives on as a reminder of that. I had a ponytail halfway down my back. If you go watch old VODs, you can kind of see it. Does Meep stand for something? Not that I'm aware of. I think just Meep Morp is the joke term that Junie calls those kind of drawings that she does. So I just refer to mine as Meep.
Welcome aboard, O Prince. Shall I guide thee across the river?
I remember what I was going to say. Sadly, Steps here, you said we'll find out what a man is. Sadly, this is the updated translation, so it doesn't actually have that. Yeah, my hair does get curly when it gets long. Oh, shoot. This is bad. This is... Oh, no. This is... That one bat may have just... hurt me too much. Okay, we can make it back. Dying so soon? Well, I hadn't planned on it, but that bat had other ideas. Wait, when did I get Dagger? When did I lose my... I don't remember losing my Bible. Yeah, the updated translation is a much better translation of the Japanese, but the memes... Ooh, what's this? Mermaid statue. I don't remember what that does. Oh, summons the oarsman. Cool. I rocked it better than Alucard. Yeah, I wish mine was silver like Alucard's, though. Like, the long silver locks do look pretty good. Give it a couple decades? I sure hope so. I mean, one of my grandparents started going silver in college. You got streaks of weight and you're only 37? I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't see what the problem is. You blew a friend's mind the other day. They never realized Alucard is Dracula spelled backwards. I mean, fair enough, but like, no, I don't have enough to get up there. I need the form of bat. Did you not realize that, Clutch? Or are you being sarcastic? I can't tell. Yeah, Dracula is so vain, he named his son Dracula, but backward. Yeah, but that doesn't make the joke funny. Yeah, his middle name is Fahrenheit. There's probably more in the library we can do. Oh, look, it's the random fog that appears. Fahrenheit 451? No, I don't think he's that hot. Have to name your kid. Nope. I can't pronounce that backwards. That's too tough. Tulk. Well, there's no book burning, but, you know, we'll be attacked by books up ahead, so... Ow. Yep. I'm being stun-locked by a book. This new edition of Hooked on Phonics is terrible. Yeah, let's go. You're just not made for the streets, Father Evan. Yeah. Yeah. Fairy card. It's our first familiar. He built a nave at his church. I feel like I should protest that sort of cheese slicing with the genres built around. Yep. Do you know about leveling the familiars? I used to. I know each of them basically levels differently. A save point with 2 doors? That can only mean good things. I mean, basically, all I remember... Oh, come on. For familiars is, get the... Oddly enough, the devil one, because it opens a door for you later. Lehman! You bet the devs... Oh, yeah, the devs were insanely proud of the 3D effects they achieved in this. I mean, this was PS1. This was the beginning of 3D stuff on home consoles, really. Nope. Stop it. Okay, I seem to recall down is the way to go here first. Ah! Bad Fleaman. You're just obnoxious. I mean, honestly, this game is gorgeous just in general. Like, the pixel art is really well done. The backgrounds are beautiful. The music is beautiful. Will you stop summoning things? I can't hurt you while things are being summoned. Spends the rest of the game wearing Marco Grout's classics. That's great. Ugh, I can't talk today, apparently. So anyway, have a father joke instead from Nana Kit. Why do porcupines always win at soccer? They have the most points. I got a hot dog. Oh, sir. Yeah, that's the appropriate response. Takamitsu. It's a two-handed, and it's not very good. Ah, here we go. Soul of Bat. Hoi! Hey, Avery. Good to see ya. That was quite the chaos you had yesterday. My goodness. I don't know how you remember what you were doing in any of it. ADHD's superpower. Fair enough. Nuh-uh. No. Nuh-uh. Mm-mm. Stop it. Oh. There's the bat. Little detail that I love is that the bat's wings will become the color of your cape. Just seems like a normal day to me. 100 dabs. Fair enough. I mean... Stone mask. Is it better than my goggles? Yes, it's better than my goggles. Topaz Circlet is worse. Although it does up your intelligence. But then Holy Rod, it's weaker, but I think it does holy damage, so a lot of the things... Hold on! Wait, that's just the JoJo Stone Mask. It could be a reference. JoJo's surprisingly old. Everyone talks about normal, but no one has any. You thought it was a better piece of equipment, but it was him! Dio! Do I need to do, like, the JoJo standing pose? Not stand, but just, like, where they stand, their back's, like, way arched behind them. Well, too bad. I don't believe in JoJo around here. If I don't believe in it, it can't hurt me. If normal is not the norm, it really is differential. No, that's calculus. Hey, Brayherd. So I think the fastest way is if we go back to the teleporter on the right here that you can just barely see underneath me, and then go up to the center. All right, back to lurking. I know another way to summon Map Hack. Talk about JoJo, apparently. $1987 was a good year. Was it? I wasn't around. My existence wouldn't really start for another 4 years, so... Gasped immortality. But it's the year the TMNT became mainstream, became the cartoon adaptation of the comics. Ah, yes. My dad read some of the original comics when they first came out. He described them as very dark. But I suppose this is the part where I say, it's Shredder. Where? Both in color and in content. Yep. All right, you may remember this clock tower from last time. He'll take the cross. Princess Bride, Spaceballs, Lost Boys, Predator, RoboCop. Yeah, that's a good year for film. I know there's a secret door, but... Well, I just item crashed by accident, so... RoboCop is Catholic? I don't know.
I've been waiting for you.
Richter, why would a Belmont ever plan to resurrect Count Dracula?
Dracula rises once a century. One chance for each Belmont to shine. And then we're finished. Forgotten. If I bring him back now, the battle can last for eternity.
Can I open the secret doorway? Anyway, we're gonna beat up our friend here. Or maybe he's gonna beat us up. No! Oh, we kind of got dumpstered there. He kind of...
He has any power.
RoboCop is canonically Catholic. His Catholic aversion to taking his own life is the only reason he survived the cyborg process, according to the writer. Fascinating. Anyway, we don't even want to actually fight our friend right now. Because if we fight him, we get the bad ending. Where we just kind of walk away. We're like, oh. Dracula possessed our friend and we had to kill him. Where's my fairy? I am hitting the wall. If a cop appears in pop culture, robo or not, the cop should be assumed Catholic until proven otherwise. This comes from the stereotypical prevalence of Irish and other usually Catholic ethnic backgrounds among police. It's true! It's where the term paddy wagon comes from, actually. It was a slur against the Irish. Oh, there's the secret switch. Nothing like an item crash to cheese the game. What did I get? I got some platinum mail. Ups my defense by 4. Is pretty good. I like that the bat still has the sword on its hip. Yeah, it really is a shame it doesn't have a Steam release. Ooh, ghost card. Because our fairy decided to just disappear. They're going to Brooklyn and hang out with Italian Catholics. We are the same. Yeah. I'm gonna give Richter another go now that we've got the better armor and a couple of life upgrades and whatnot. Although I am not starting off great. Wait, you're not even a true Belmont. Your name is just Richter Belmont is one word. There's no space between those. Oh, that's what's supposed to happen.
My greatest attack.
What? There was a cutscene and then all of a sudden I died.
Harder! I still lust for blood.
Hey, it's that guy from Smash Bros. Yep. Okay, let's keep exploring then. Because now we can fly. We're like our own Uber for the air. No, leave me alone! Oh, you jerks. Oh, you jerks. Yeah, some things are just too sentimental or precious to use properly. I have a prayer book of my great-grandfather that I have thumbed through a little bit, but I'm incredibly careful with it, and I only do so on occasion. Hey, Mars. Yeah, the fight's going okay. We got bat power. So that's cool. But these flying fleas won't leave us alone. Give me that wall chicken. Power of Mist. So that lets us stay as Mist now, rather than just getting to do it for a split second. So it's just another way to get around. So I think the best option is probably to go back to the basement. Leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone, jerks. Yeah, go back to the basement and explore further there now that we can fly. Yep, my great-grandfather. And one upgrade away from... Why haven't you finished the game yet? Hush. Hush, you Sub-Zero, hush. Plus, I'm not one step away. I still need the magic glasses, which I need to have the 2 rings to get. The poison mist power is basically, why are you still exploring? You melt every enemy. I mean, yes and no, because the poison mist is very slow. It's really good for areas you've already cleared, like this. If it could be done without harming it, maybe digitize it? That's a good thought. It's probably already digitized. I mean, it's not a unique one. It's called Garden of the Soul. It was actually a very popular prayer book of the 19th and early 20th century. So there probably is a digitized version out there. So that would let me read it, but it's so cool just having his and like seeing like the gold leaf on the edge of the paper, like where it's worn off, which showed just how much he used certain parts of it. Problem is, it's really small. It's like that big. It is a pocket book. Grandfather means it's probably Latin. No, the Garden of the Soul was published in English. That was one of the things that made it actually kind of an interesting historical... It showed up actually in my American Catholic history course that I took in seminary. It does have the proper responses for a server at Mass in Latin. Oh, cool. What did I just get there? I saw the thing about something appeared under the bridge. Herald Shield, thank you. Heraldry! his coat of arms looks like. Have you heard of the anime canon explanation for why vampires don't like crosses? No? No, I have not. I could not watch the anime. It was way too bloody for me. Thank you, Denki Kang. I love the jazziness of this track. Vampires are a distinct species, vision and emotion-based predators. Turns out shoving a weird geometric shape in their face confuses them. I just like the idea of, you know, Dracula. You know, oh, what's the shape? Oh, I don't know what's going on. They probably hate this save point then. Oh look, the music changed. It's like it's a boss fight or something. What are you doing here, Kerberos? This is not the entrance to Hades. Get out of here. You look silly. That explanation is something. It sure is an explanation. As explanations go, it sure is one. And remember, kids, I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan. I know explanations. Hey, Zenvertus. Good to see ya. Yeah, so you need the demon, and he'll be like, oh, what's this button? No, I actually kind of wanted the axe. You're a Salem witch and I'm a trial. Hey, Crimson Knight. Well, I've just got a Sonic commercial coming in. I think I know what I want to get to celebrate this Saturday's solemnity. Nothing says a solemnity like Sonic, I guess. See, when I read that, you know, this being Twitch, I was thinking Sonic the Hedgehog. Stop it! I cannot fight these guys while reading chat. They have too much AoE with this fire. The Tempest family coat of arms is Argent Crescent Moon waning over or Starburst on Field of Azure Dexter. Sinister bands of ore and ghouls. Ghouls. I used to know my heraldry better. What color is ghouls? I guess it's red. Because yellow is ore, blue is azure, purple is purpur. Ghouls, red, ore, yellow, yep. Oh no! Well, I guess we have a laser now. I quite enjoy heraldry. I think it's an interesting field of study. Actually, as a priest, I'm entitled to a coat of arms. I'd probably just wind up using the one from my name, though.
There's a switch. Perhaps I should press it.
You know what's funny is with the upcoming solemnity, it's not that big for us. Like, it's nice to celebrate St. Paul, but our patronal feast day is the conversion of St. Paul, so, you know, that one's bigger. Your coat of arms should have 2 arms, otherwise it's a cape. Does the Castlevania anime ever explain why the church looks Latin Catholic? I mean, haven't watched the show, but you go to a Romanian church, it doesn't look like the anime church. Yeah, that's fair. That's a good point, actually. American writers like the Catholic aesthetic. Ring of Ares. Got lots of things to sell. Confers the strength of 24 men. Literally just makes you 24 stronger, but it's pretty good. Here, Wasteland Wall, do not need this help. Last Thursday was your baptism anniversary. Happy baptism anniversary. Yes, 24. It confers the strength of 24 men. Or just one guy from the TV show 24. Okay. So I guess straight down and down to the right are the only 2 ways left. Ow! I need a save point. That's what I need. Ow. I didn't think I even touched her hitbox. You have wall chicken? I do have wall chicken, but you know what? I have too good to use syndrome. There is too much going on in my pockets, and I need to save it for the final boss. Yeah, this'll do. Wall chicken is a special treat, not something you just use and throw away. I heard Sonic has wall chicken half price in the app. Why does a hedgehog have wall chicken? Actually, we could have gone there. Oh well. We'll go there on the way back. Have you read the 1632 book series from Eric Flint? Do you have any thoughts on how it addresses weird religious questions that come up from an American town in 1999 suddenly appearing in Germany in the 30 Years' War? I have never even heard of this series. It sounds interesting. You know, what color did you paint the outside of your house? If the answer isn't purple or light blue, I don't know what you're doing. I'd be the kind of person that HOAs would hate. I'm stuck. HOAs hate most people. I mean, fair enough. Karma coin. Combat knife. Ooh, further into the depths. Let's go. Ah, the catacombs. I feel weirdly at home here. Where's skeleton? You mean a human skeleton? If you ever get to paint my place, the inside would be a very, very light shade of seafoam green. Nice. That actually sounds super, super chill and relaxing. I do find it funny that you have Crimson in your username, but... Texas, I think, is the only state the HOA can eventually get you evicted. That's not right. Excuse me, Mr. the Beast. Have you considered not? Okay, thank you. Crimson's reference to your college. It's like kryptonite to our rival school. Makes sense. Oh yeah. Look at those polygons making the lava. That's not even mode 7 stuff. I find it funny that to eat something you have to throw it out on the floor. Harvard Yard. Park your car. It's pretty wicked. Ice Brand. The weapons in this have such great names. Ice Sword of Mim. There's a big difference between Harvard and Bama. Yep. There are mome rats as well as Mims. True, but unhelpful, I believe. Ooh, walk armor. That one gets really good later on. Yeah, the more map coverage you have, the better it gets. May as well save, actually. Just so I don't forget to go back in there. Boss fight! Which boss fight is this? Oh, it's Grand Falloon! This boss is great because this is a reference to Kurt Vonnegut, believe it or not. A Grand Falloon appears in some of his works, most specifically Cat's Cradle. It is a sort of a pseudo-family unit that is made up of people across time and space. You don't really know who's going to be in your Grand Falloon, but you find them nonetheless. $99 Grand Falloons. Do I have... You know what, we'll use a pot roast. That makes me feel very anxious. See, his whole point about the concept of Grand Falloon, it was very much in like the sense of found family. Is it was meant to be very comforting, and like the religion, it's part of Boko something. I forget what it is. Kurt Vonnegut is one of my favorite authors, so Bokanism, thank you. So this is a reference to kind of the idea of the found family collective in a very dark way. You read Slaughterhouse 5 and it made you feel very anxious? Listen, Billy Pilgrim has come unstuck in time. I could see, yeah, if it makes you anxious, you know, don't read his other stuff, but I really love his works. Slaughterhouse 5 is good. I think there's a reason it's the one that everyone is supposed to read, but I don't think it's his best by any means. Personally, I think Mormon Grill. Strong against holy things. Okay. Yeah, I think Galapagos is one of my favorites, but my all-time favorite is Slapstick. I think Breakfast of Champions is maybe the best one everyone should read. That or... Your first exposure to Vonnegut was freshman year of college. Most unpleasant people to take any classroom. I hate... That's what ruins a lot of things in literature and math for a lot of people. It's just a bad teacher. Which is a shame. Jewel Sword. Transforms your enemies into jewels. Sounds like a good way to make money. So give Vonnegut another go? There you go. I do not recommend Player Piano. That one's like one of his first novels, and it shows. I think Galapagos, or not Galapagos. Ooh, Bible. Oh, what was the one I was just thinking of? I said Slapstick. I think Slapstick is one of the funniest. You like sci-fi? Well, Timequake is one of his most sci-fi. He tends to use sci-fi more as like a framing device more than anything else. And like, yeah, I know Bradbury does that as well in many ways, but goodbye. But the why of Bradbury's tech matters more in the stories than it does in... Is that why it's called slapstick comedy? No, it's called slapstick comedy because of Punch and Judy, where they would literally slap each other with sticks. He was just using the term based on that. That is a good question. Like, at first, like, wait a minute, is that why? It's like, nope. It's actually, it goes back pretty far. The Punch and Judy was just like puppets that would be used to entertain children at various things in like the late medieval, early Renaissance. And yeah, and literally up until like the 20th century, like Punch and Judy could still be found in England. And it's just... Oh, does slapstick go even further back than Punch and Judy? You might like Timequake then, Mel. Guess what book I started this morning? Hint. Wah! I'm guessing a book about the orcs. The best green dudes in Warhammer 40k. Matt Pack added let me guess, Matt Pack added a lot of oh, what's his name? G.K. Chesterton. Commedia dell'arte. Slapping stick to exaggerate the smacking of someone. Fascinating. Spesh Marine. Okay. So there's a bunch kind of right below a lot of that. Like if we go up, straight up from where we are. Anything directly below that is because of water. So, you know what? Let's go back that way. Atreus' Theology of the Body by Chris West. Sample of the Lucas. Ah. Do you know that the reason why Pedro Cantor's chapter of Imperial Fist successors can never get away with crimes? Because they keep getting caught red-handed? That's a deep and inside father joke, and I'm here for it. For those who don't know, it's because they... Oh no, we lost the Bible! It's literally their army. They're right. They have red hands. I'm calling in my knight friend to help me, Sir Loin. They're called the Crimson Fist specifically. Yeah. Like Ultramarines are always blue. Exactly. Space Marine 2, you're so excited. Yeah, I remember that game coming out in college. So we can't go under the water yet. It'll have 3-player co-op story mode. Alright, right on. Wow, we'd never explored any of this. Games Workshop really had some inspired choices for some of the names they came up with. Iron Hands by a guy named Ferris Manus, whose hands were coated in metal, whose flagship is called the Fist of Iron. Yeah, Games Workshop is a repository of creative ideas. Oh no, that's healing her. It's like, why isn't that hurting her? Oh yeah, it's an ice sword. She's made of ice. Oh, hello, boatman.
Destiny awaits, O Prince.
No, I'm playing Castlevania, not Destiny. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? How about now? It's a snorkel. Why is the holy symbol a snorkel? What religion? Well, now we're no longer hurt by water, because apparently that's what a vampire was being hurt by. Not, the living water, the symbolism of it being Christ. No. It was that he didn't have a snorkel. Maybe it's upside down crook. Yeah, but his problem isn't that he needs to breathe underwater. I mean, he walks underwater like a hippo. His problem is that he's part vampire and living water hurts him. Kind of looks like a J. And you know whose name starts with J? Josh? In all religions, the one most likely to have a snorkel is Catholicism. Just get some reef diving saint. Okay, first of all, how dare you? Second of all, am I wrong? No, I didn't say you were wrong. I just said, how dare you? It would be a second-class relic. Anyway, Kit has claimed Rotata. I'm just looking to see if there's a way to track who's claimed which Rotata. Hey, look, it's a boss room where you need the water. Anyway, today has the gospel line, "Do not cast pearls before swine." Your religion is in this photo, and I don't like it. Which is an interesting tension, because, like, on the one hand, it's like, wait, aren't we supposed to call to proclaim faith to all people, to all the world? And yet Christ is telling us there are times that barriers are necessary, that, you know, it's people will not listen, and it is fruitless for us, and will not help us and will not help them to engage in dialogue and relationship. So sometimes the healthiest thing is Jesus telling us to cut bait. No, not cut bait, but, you know, be willing and say, you know what, this is not helping either of us, and to establish a boundary. And boundaries are good, healthy. And what is that thing? It's gone, whatever it is. I think we were supposed to do this earlier. Crystal Cloak. Constitution goes up. All right. Snake Burris. Yeah. Nate the Great, 7979. Welcome. Thank you for the follow. Check this cape out. It makes me invisible. I mean, being overpowered and having way too much, or having way too high level of equipment kind of helps with bosses. Gale has redeemed a father joke. Oh dear. You know, I don't like wearing my seatbelt, but after getting a lot of pressure from my family, I buckled. You love hearing multiple thoughts on daily readings because everyone picks out a different thing. Yeah, it's the great thing. You know, it's pretty broad. Like, Scripture speaks to us in so many great ways. Ancient Greek monster shows up in the... I haven't read the Odyssey. I just know vague bits of it because of YouTube. I guess I could go down through all of this now. Fish head. Well, it's accurate. Your fiance nagged you about wearing yours, so one day I did to shut him up. I was in a bad accident and survived. See? And your fiance knows well, then fiance, now husband, knows a thing or two about car accidents. Have I seen Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I've seen bits and pieces, but I need to get around to seeing all of it. Nunchaku. Talking about Fisher stuff made you think of Troparion of Pentecost. Blessed are you, O Christ our God. You have revealed the fishermen as the most wise by sending down upon them the Holy Spirit. Through them you drew the world into your net. O lover of man, glory to you. Ah, I so love the Troparion and Kontakion of the East. They're so well written. They're so poetic and so beautiful and so pithy in their length. Wow, none of these are fake walls. I feel like one of these should have been a fake wall, just given how empty everything else is. Sure, I'll take axe over laser. Barely any attention was paid. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's why I liked... One of my English teachers in high school is like, you just have to read books. I'm not going to assign you any, but you have to read a certain amount throughout the year. And then do reports on them. Striking every wall just in case, yep. And we had to do like 4 of those a year, so one of the ones I wound up doing was Catch-22, because lots of my friends were reading it. And I was like, oh, okay. Fell in love with the weird book. Armin Desante. Odyssey. Catch-22, you're nothing but a phony. No? No? Catch-22 is my favorite book of all time. Aside from the Bible, of course, but, you know, I think that one goes without saying. My favorite piece of fiction, shall we say. I had one English teacher like that. We did have a list of approved books. You didn't observe a single book. Well, you know, it doesn't always work. You were thinking Catcher in the Rye. Catcher in the Rye is also a good book. And that one, I will say, yeah, the phony call is accurate there. You still have something wicked this way come. Related intrusive thoughts. Well, yeah. Valid. Catcher 2 is another one I started paying attention to when got partway through and realized it was actually pretty good. Favorite book of high school, same year, Crime and Punishment. You know, just some light reading. Actually, I want to go down, because there's a door there. No one should have to read the Scarlet Letter? Truth. I think Claymore's two-handed. Yeah. And it's only one more powerful. My teacher is big on Hemingway. I like Hemingway, but, you know, if you're being forced into reading him... Turns out, I love a lot of 20th century modern classics. I think modern authors had a lot of good, interesting things to say. Kurt Vonnegut, Joseph Heller, Hemingway, you know. Meal tickets. These are huge. This a meal ticket just spawns like a ton of food. Moonstone. Improved status after sunset. I don't know why it's improving our status now. Great expectation, Eric. I did after Grapes of Wrath, sad face. Fair. Great expectations. I recognize what it is important to read, but seriously, and the Sorrows of Young Werther. I have come around a long way. Oh, that looks perfectly cromulent. I have come a long way on the Sorrows of Young Werther from when I first read it in high school. Your favorite deceased 20th century authors have names like Heinlein? I can grok that. Ominous purple save point. This'll be fine. Nightmare. Oh yeah, this part's really kind of messed up.
Mother!
Alucard, is that you?
I'm coming, Mother! I'll save you!
No, Alucard, stay away!
Mother!
It's all right. If my death can save others, I gladly surrender my life.
No! I won't let this happen!
It's too late. Just stay with me. Hear my last words to you.
Yes, Mother.
Humans. You cannot live with them. You can only hate them, do them harm.
What?
Theirs is such a hard lot. Release them from their pain. Begin with the ones who killed me.
No, it wasn't like this.
Alucard, what's wrong?
My mother never said such a thing.
What do you mean? I am your mother. Do as I say. Release them. Kill them.
No, you are not my mother. What kind of demon are you?
Strong enough to break my spell, hmm? I like that.
You deserve worse than death for this, demon.
Then give it to me, little boy. Don't be shy.
No, don't make it weird. Anyway, yeah, it's kind of messed up that this demon, this succubus, is using the memory of his mother's death, which is already really tragic, to try and manipulate him into killing people.
Darkling, I smell your blood, your hunger. That strength.
Too late, it's weird.
That
Yeah.
beauty. You really are the son of Lord Dracula.
Death in the
Yeah,
dream
Heinlein got
world
weird,
will
but you know
set
what?
your soul
Grok is a great
wandering
term.
For eternity, demon.
Wait!
And I sent this to Sub-Zero the other day on Discord. Can you smell what the grok is cooking? Gold ring! So, gold ring, where, ... clock, ... We need the silver one, which says, in, or ... in, ... tower. I'm trying to remember where to go from here. Because we need the armor breaker to go down to the bottom right. We can explore the top left. Yeah, let's do the top left. We haven't been around that area lately. So what I'm going to do... Hey, Father Trekkie. He was always weird. It just wasn't as obvious. That is valid. Let's use a library card. Does your library card do that? Lurk. Thank you for the lurk, Father Trekkie. Good to see ya.
Young Master Alucard.
How about this?
Thank you.
How about this?
My library card transports me to all sorts of strange, wonderful places, yes, but can it do so instantaneously? Damascus sword. Not that good. Leather shield, iron shield, velvet hat, leather hat, circlet. Diamond plate's pretty good, actually. Joseph's cloak is really good. You can change the color of it. Ooh, castle map. That's actually... I'm absolutely buying that.
Thank you.
Some magic scrolls.
Thank you.
Strength minus 23. But other sets up. Nah. Or does that? Let's buy one. Love your library's ebook program. Biblioteca. Oh, that's great. I really should look into... Anyway. Yes, we have Dark Metamorphosis! Anyway, I think if we equip the other... Oh, that's not as good as I thought it was. Oh, well. But yeah, so if you do Konami style codes, you can cast spells. Come on. Yes, they kept that voice line. But with the bat, what you can do? Come on. So that was 3/4 circle. I don't remember how to start that one. Did you know that you don't need the scrolls if you have the inputs memorized? I didn't know that, but you know what? I also don't mind buying them. I'm supporting his local business. So, what? It's question mark. Like, I know there's a way to just, like, yeet yourself with the bat. Ooh, level up. Don't forget to use your super jump on the librarian for later goodies. Well, that's in the inverse library. Isn't it? That's what I'm thinking of, at least. Okay, where's the teleporter? Up. Yeah, so we have some room in the clock tower to explore. But again, I think I want to do... Yeah, that's where I know where we need to go. Okay. I remember. In the upright library as well. Go to the room below. Oh! Yeah. I thought you were just like saying, because in the inverse library, his desk isn't there, and... Oh, that's right. It's hold jump. Thank you. Is that the one we want to go to? Nah, we'll go to that one. Is it true? It meant something completely different. The Aztec period preset is lift up your heart. Well, I think it was lift up your heart, not our hearts, but you know. A little different from this from Sursum Corda you'll hear today. That's what I was looking for. Back goes Zoom. A stock. German thrust sword. Two-handed. Powerful, but I don't really use the two-handed weapons. Okay, yeah, this does connect around. I was looking for an open door. Yeah, okay, we found the other side of this. That's right. So we needed that gaseous form traveling ability to get through all these spikes. And Brain keeps going, we lift them up to the Lord. That's a good thing, I think. What? Oh no. I need the spike breaker armor to get through here. I thought this is where you got the spike breaker armor. Well, I guess up and to the right to the clock tower again, because there's plenty of unexplored stuff over there. But I need to get some magic back. Dang, I was hoping to be able to get to the inverted castle today, but I don't think that's... it might happen, but I need to figure out where the proper armor is. Bible. I see now heavily vampire survivors pulled from this. Oh, yeah. I don't think pulled is the right word. I think heavy homage is more accurate. And I love Vampire Survivors, and they would admit it too. That it's like, yeah, this is a love letter to Castlevania. I know what you're talking about, Sub-Zero. There are lots of vampires and Vampire Survivors. You just haven't found them yet. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I'm still looking to find a genre that accidentally made it a new genre. Yeah. Oh, you've never played Castlevania? I am a fan of them. Both the original style and the more open exploration ones. Oh, that's where floor chicken comes from. Yep. But like Super Castlevania 4 is a thoroughly enjoyable game on the Super Nintendo. Even though I've never beaten it. Maybe I will one day. At least that game has passcodes. There's one side-scrolling beat-em-up on Super Nintendo that I really enjoy, but it has no passcode, so I've never beaten it. The earliest old school hard Symphony is considered definitive by many, yeah. I mean, it really did define the genre in many ways. I guess we can go up and we can keep exploring what's up there. You know, while we're here. Although I have a feeling we've been up here. Is this just ceiling? Yeah, we just didn't explore the ceiling. Okay. Yeah, I want to go through here. Would this what be the one to start with newbies? Oh, I think so. It is a solid one for sure. Any of the GBA ones are also good. I mean, obviously their graphics are going to be a little more limited, but again, I lost my Bible and it turned into a dagger again. You lost it on the widescreen? I'm sure I did. You need to do something about misplacing that Bible. I know. Why can't he just carry around an app? Ooh. Fire of Bats. So I believe that... Yeah, you do a little Hadoken as the bat. Yeah, and this is the PS4 version. So, oh, I see a spot we haven't gone. Towards the bottom left, right towards the entrance where we couldn't go up originally. But fortunately, we're close to a teleporter, so that'll help. Be lovely to see this released on Switch. It would. This would make a great Switch title. Or, you know, well, actually, I was about to say, or the GBA ones. They already did that. There's a collection. I wish the collection had the DS sequel to Aria of Sorrow, Dawn of Sorrow, I think. Okay, this is the room we want to be in. I'm just gonna go down this way so I can fill in the map. Stop it! Stop it! You're bullying me! You know what? It's hot outside when the cats are sleeping so deeply they don't care about a can opening sound. Wow, that is hot. Ow. Ow. You enter their territory and then complain of them bullying you? Yes! I'm the son of the master of this castle. It's my domain. Well, that's not what I was looking for. Manifest nepotism. Exactly. Well, it's the same, but slightly better than Platinum, so... I feel like my defense is glitched. I even knew what that was, and I still did that. Oh, that's right. The Ares ring drops it. Oh my gosh, that's right. It gives you the strength of 24 men, but it makes you incredibly squishy. Oh, yeah. Well, hunk that. I forgot about that. Then I'm glad I picked up the Ring of Palace. No wonder I was taking so much damage. I was like, wow. Am I just not paying attention because I've been reading chat a bunch, which is also true? Best defense is a good offense, yeah? Why am I so squishy? Asked man wearing anti-armor. Shut up. Okay, I got an idea. I have no idea if it's correct, but we're going to try it. Oh, no, I do remember what I'm supposed to do there. We need the echolocation ability. Because the bat can do echolocation. Once you get the ability. He wears the armor of God, but that doesn't help him in video games, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't give the stat boosts you'd want. But once you get the where that dark room was full of spikes, you navigate through that as the bat, using the echolocation to essentially light it up, and then you get to the end, and that's where the spike breaker armor is. Then you go back to the bell tower, to that room where we were. You traverse through all of that, and you get the other ring. Your boss really, really likes Ephesians, and I hear that in the morning now. Your pentagram had 6 sides, Alucard. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, secret boots! These have the best... Discreetly increases height. I don't know if it actually increases Alucard's height, but we always joked in college it made him like 1 pixel taller. I just remembered where it is. And we were right there. Darn it. Darth Nabbit. Or as our KOTOR playthrough taught us, Darth Brandon. Is about 1 pixel's worth of height, although it stretches the sprite instead of adding to the feet. That's hilarious. There's a certain sense of whimsy that the developers had with this. Owl Night. It's Shovel Knight we have at home. Yeah, if you kill the owl first, the night mourns. Yeah. Okay, that's not where I thought it was. Is it up there? And that, like, squiggly top left part? We're running out of places, so we have to find it eventually. Oh, no, I just... Chat, like, directly below me here. I don't know how well you can see it. There's an open door spot. However, we did get the wolf ability that makes this game so much nicer. I'm tired of all these mother-loving zombies in this mother-loving castle. Wait, no, hold on. In this mother-loving castle. I need to get a longer beep. That beep's not long enough to really censor with. The worst part is I had an idea for a sound effect and I have one open slot, and then I just forgot what it was. Maybe it was a laugh track. How would you feel if I had a laugh track to go along with this? You're bringing me a notebook in October? I think I'm worried now that you say that after I mentioned a laugh track. Look, Father Evan, I wrote your name in it. It's that kind of notebook. A Shinigami gave it to me. Mercurus. Polished to resist stoning. I think you're just Father Evan to me and immune. There's that. So that's not what I thought I'd find here. So we know it's not there. So I think it is going to be in the top. Maybe it's in that center section we hadn't finished exploring. So many options. But we're narrowing them down. Just thinking a notebook for your thoughts and write them down when they strike. The problem is I forget where those kind of notebooks are. I would totally appreciate getting one, don't get me wrong. But like for a while I was like, oh, I'll carry around a notebook in my pocket. They all wound up in the wash. Wait, I want this? Yeah. Honestly, it's a miracle my phone doesn't end up in the wash. I'll occasionally put these, my collar tabs through the wash. They're usually fine, although sometimes they do become a little warped. Because they're plastic, and so if they get into the dryer, it's like, oh. I beat you to the question. Yeah, some are plastic, some are actually made of like linen. Those are the really nice ones. They'll have like a plastic insert to help them hold their shape or something like that. But all the ones I have are plastic. They're a very like soft, malleable plastic. Yes, Bible. That's an ominous store. That's a boss fight. I'm gonna ruin your table here. Sup, Ulrox? You mean something in canon, and I don't remember what it is, so... I like that we just show up at this dude's dining room and we're just like, I don't know, we're gonna break all your furniture and attack you. Could you 3D print them? I suppose you could, but I don't know why you would. Oh, that's not right. He ate his veggies, so he's grown. Yeah, now he's lodged in the wall. And now he is splawed. Probably easy to sew and starch linen ones. Yeah, probably. I've never actually owned a linen one. All right, Echo of Bat. Okay, so what this does... Which button is it? Nope. Hello? There we go. Triangle. It just wasn't working earlier. I guess all that vitamin A does not defend you against King stabbed by Dracula's son, yeah? Anyway, now we can go into that room in the darkness and be like, oh, hello. Yes. Ah, I see. But we're going to have to save that for next time, because I am looking at the clock, which is unfortunate. Ah, we were so close to getting to go to the inverted castle, and if I didn't have a meeting right after this, I'd go into overtime today, but I do have other work duties. Do you Amazon the collars or what? I think you can buy them on Amazon. I've never tried. I go with a store called Barbiconi. It's one of the houses of tailors in Rome. It's a more affordable one. It's about $25 a shirt. And about $1 a tab. So whenever I order a shirt, which I actually need to order a couple of soon, I'll order just like 25 extra. Yeah, $25 for a shirt isn't bad, especially because American companies like Toomey, it's like 50. Now, admittedly, that's the last time I bought it, so you know it's been a while in inflation, so I don't know, but why isn't there a save point closer? I think I know where one is. You can, in fact, buy that on Amazon. What brands can you buy on Amazon, though? That's the question. Because if it's just Toomey, Toomey is not great in my opinion. I don't know. Like if you can get away with $25 for jeans, that's valid. I think there's... Yeah, we just missed a save point here all along. Bada boom, bada bing. Bloodstone. Bloodstone improves blood healing abilities. 3D casket go burr. Yeah, I suppose. You also get some made by monks. Her Circe, Blessumi, Ivy Robes, Rusas. Well, 3 of those are not real companies. Those are sort of the Amazon drop shipping, cheap online companies, so I wouldn't buy from them. Ivy Robes is a real company, but I don't know if I'd buy a clerical shirt from them. So just because you can't get it on Amazon doesn't mean you should. And that's an important life lesson for the day, but I think that's where we're going to call it. So thank you so much to everyone for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today. Thank you for coming, stopping by. We made good progress. We are this close to getting to the inverted castle. Just abs. Okay, cool. I can finally buy abs. You're morally put. Yeah, that's fair. I also try not to do much with Amazon. But yeah, thank y'all for coming in, hanging out. What else was I gonna say? What is my copy? Yeah, just thank you for for following, liking, joining the Discord, subscribing over on YouTube, all that good jazz. So thank you so much, and I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. And why don't we see who's live to raid? Gonna send you on over to Yuha. It's his birthday. So wish him a happy birthday. He is 31 apparently. Celebrating by playing some of his favorite games, it looks like. So I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Take care, and God bless.